Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. You guys, welcome back to that. Um, Hello, Miriam. Hello, Catherine. Two wonderful, powerful survivors that we know since we were kids. Um, Hello, Amanda. How are you? What? Marina, your friend got arrested protesting? Where, in Chicago? I'm so sorry to hear about that. And hopefully she's getting some resources to get her out. So you guys, today we're going to be reacting to the Philadelphia Inquirer, who did an article called "A Philly Lawyer for SA Victims Left His Firm After an Ex-Client's Complaint Was Leaked." So let's really react to what in the hell is actually going on here. Brian Kent left his firm after a confidential complaint lodged by a former client was publicized by a YouTuber called The Rabbit. The Inquirer has verified the authenticity of the document. So here is a photo of attorney Brian Kent. Brian Kent had established himself in Philadelphia's legal community as a go-to personal injury lawyer for survivors of SA, with clients that included people abused by Jerry Sandusky, Scientology, Pornhub, Massage Envy, and the Southern Baptist Church. So, yes, you guys, we can confirm that Brian Kent was a person that Mike Rinder and Leah Remini were, telling everyone to really call, to really, represent them. So we were introduced by Leah Remini and Mike Rinder to this attorney. Kent, a former Montgomery County prosecutor, received the National Center of Exploitation's Civilian Leadership Award, and he served on the board of Child USA, a think tank that combats child abuse. I mean, a think tank that combats child abuse by hiring on its board none other than Mike Rinder, who, sat on another board, Scientology to be precise, was on another board for decades doing the, diametrically opposed situationship of combating child abuse. Imagine that Mike Rinder, tapped to be part of this board, was on another board proliferating child abuse at an industrial size scale, at an unthinkable scale. But a think tank that supposedly combats child abuse doesn't have a shred of critical thinking skills to vet or do a shred of due diligence, apparently. I mean, it's hard to understand how it could be called a lack of due diligence, you guys. It's very hard to understand because right about now, I already told you, both Marcy Hamilton and Brian Kent were our attorneys. So if you think that they're so clueless and have no idea about nothing and they're just so out of the loop, you know what? They weren't that out of the loop. We looped them in. The clients that were with them discussing our cases, intimate details of our cases. So before Child USA wants to purport that, oh, we were so clueless, we had no idea. Well, you know what? They have an idea, and they still have an idea as this man sits on the board. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, how now Child USA is literally defending Mike literal Rinder. In the last 2 weeks, however, Kent left Laffey, Bucci, and Kent, the Center City law firm that he co-founded and separated from the board of Child USA, which on Friday called for a criminal investigation into the lawyer. The sudden departures are the result of a leak of a confidential complaint filed with the disciplinary board of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania that accuses the prominent lawyer of engaging in a relationship with a client, in a sexual relationship with a client, in violation of the rules of professional conduct for lawyers in the state. The complaint, which appears to have first been publicized this month by a YouTuber known as The Rabbit, was filed in November 2022 by 2 Philadelphia lawyers on behalf of the client who Kent had represented. So there is a lot to unpack, and there's a lot more to be said. But today, the purpose of this video is just to react to what's literally being reported by this newspaper. The leak of the complaint is highly unusual. Disciplinary board investigations are kept secret unless they result in public sanctions. The Inquirer has independently confirmed the authenticity of the complaint. So, first, our point, like they would say in Scientology. In what world is there an investigation taking 2 years to figure out what in the hell are you looking at for 2 years? Disciplinary Board of Investigations looking into attorneys that may or may have not abused their power. In what world does a complaint go from November 2022, it's the year 2024, and nothing, zero gets done. Zero. On Friday, this is another revised thing that we really need to understand what in the hell. On Friday, Marcy Hamilton, the founder and CEO of Child USA, said in a statement that other people have since come forward with similar complaints, indicating that there appears to be a pattern of manipulative and abusive behavior by Kent toward vulnerable clients nationwide seeking to find validation and justice in the legal system. The organization did not immediately provide details of those allegations. There are others out there who have the same story. Quote from Hamilton, Marcy Hamilton, a political science professor at the University of Pennsylvania. She said in an interview. So here's the first thing to really understand. This Inquirer piece came out, and guess who had no comment whatsoever? Bingo, Marcy Hamilton, no comment. So there was apparently some later added comment, and I guess another interview where, you know, now she is giving a comment. Now she is saying that all of a sudden, yes, there's a lot of other, you know, victims that we had no shred of a clue were victims, and really, no one had a shred of a literal clue. There are others out there that have the same story. Hamilton, a political science professor at the University of Pennsylvania, said in an interview, "We just didn't want to let anybody think this should be ignored now." I mean, we just didn't want to let anybody think that this should be ignored now. This is when the FBI ought to get involved. Oh, so the FBI should really get involved. Well, consider FBI being called out by none other than Marcy Hamilton, professor of the University of Pennsylvania, that is calling on y'all to literally get involved. And it'd be great for y'all to literally get involved and start literally looking at what else is literally going on. Because, again, these people were our attorneys. Marcy Hamilton was our attorney representing us on supposed litigation, with her partner Brian being compromised quite early on in our representation. Because yes, you guessed it. So if a client of Brian is doing things with the attorney on the side, and there's all manner of other plaintiffs that have their case, that have their entire life in the hands of these people, guess what happens to everyone else? And where was that? The FBI really ought to get involved statement when all this child, unthinkable, disgusting details were being shared with these attorneys. Marcy Hamilton told me to go talk at a podcast with, literally, kid you not, one of her ambassadors. But let's not digress. There was no FBI being called on to investigate. But now we really want to get the FBI involved. And there were no one knew about a nothing, and we didn't just want anyone to think that it should be ignored now. I mean, how long has it been ignored? Marcy Hamilton would be a better question for you to really answer with. How long have y'all known about this? How long have y'all not done anything to investigate further, to ensure, to insulate that there are not more victims being made victims? I mean, again, it's like when you have an attorney and you're putting your life in their hands, if they're doing things that are compromising your relationship with them and nobody did anything, everybody just sat there. So in what world do you really want us to think that, it shouldn't really be ignored now, and really let's get the FBI involved now? Well, let's get the FBI involved. That would be a great idea, to literally see if the FBI can do a shred of a thing. Because apparently when it comes to, helping kids or survivors that were abused as kids, we are getting nothing. We're getting thrown under buses with everyone playing dumb around us, literally. Child USA's board, in a statement last weekend, said that it had recently learned of the disciplinary board complaint. It said, quote, that, again, you guys, Child USA's board. So the board, who was comprised of Mike Rinder and Brian Kent. Mike Rinder, who purports to not know anything about this until recently. BS, Mike literal Rinder. You knew. And more people knew, not just you. More people knew. People that were very, very close to me, that withheld this information from me, that didn't tell me nothing was going on. So imagine that this information is known, and by the literal board, by extension, Mike literal Rinder knew, but they're still talking as if, oh no, we didn't know. This was shocking to us. We had no idea. But oh yeah, there's a lot of other people coming forward now. There's literal things in their website with people claiming that, there were other things going on. You guys can look at the reviews yourself, the Google reviews on the website, so you can see the type of attention that, people that were writing in those Google reviews, things were literally being ignored. So all of a sudden, we really did know a lot about stuff, and we really need to get the FBI involved. The legal intelligencer first reported last week that Kent had left his law firm. He had described the departure as a mutual and amicable. Firm co-founder Jeffrey Laffey, however, later disputed Kent's account, saying in a statement to the Philadelphia-based legal journal that his removal was not mutual or amicable. Laffey said that the firm stands by its statements but referred requests for comment to Kent. The firm has been removing any mention of Kent from its website. Kent's lawyer, Ellen Brotman, said late Friday afternoon, these allegations are outrageous and completely false. We will vigorously defend against them. She declined to comment on the status of the disciplinary board investigation. So, I mean, again, this literal cookie cutter, the allegations are outrageous and completely false. Ellen, it would be great to understand how they are false and outrageous. It'd be great to understand why there's so many WhatsApp messages that are available to substantiate what in the hell was going on and how much it was affecting current litigation of other plaintiffs intimately connected to this literal source. That's the problem with this. All other plaintiffs, Valerie Haney, they had already filed literal paperwork against her. You've seen how wrecked she's been in the court. You've seen how the representation has been so shoddy, missing deadlines, just literally not showing up. I mean, the same behavior that Brian Kent is being called out to, meetings with the DOJ that they were nowhere to be found to attend, these people. So in what world, Ellen Brotman, is Kent just having all these outrageous, completely false, vigorously defend what is in the text messages, in those WhatsApp messages, vigorously defend that. Defend what's literally there. It's probably very available to you. In 2 years, no one could check the messages to see what in the hell? And this outrageous, slow investigatory board that investigates attorneys. I mean, imagine that the attorneys have attorneys that are investigating and investigating and investigating and investigating and getting nowhere for 2 literal years. Here's Thomas Counselors at Law, a New York-based law firm that has worked alongside Laffey, Bucci, and Kent on SA cases, releases a statement last week calling for Kent's former firm to determine the truth about Mr. Kent's conduct with those under his care or supervision. We abhor the misuse of power to prey upon any individual, lawyer Kat Thomas wrote. Whether it be between a doctor and a patient, employer and employee, priest or parishioner, or an attorney and a client, it's never okay to exploit a position of power for personal gratification. Yeah, it's never okay to exploit that. It's never okay to hide the fact that you've done that. It's never okay that you are literally putting everyone else's cases in jeopardy. Something that what? Who does it benefit to have all child survivors of Scientology end up with compromised AF attorneys that were doing this very early on in the situationship? And who knew that this was going on? Who literally knew that this was going on? Who literally knew that this was affecting every other client who did nothing to deserve this, who did nothing to have this level of shoddy, outrageous BS representation? Yes, it's called BS representation. And I'm sure that Scientology is loving that. I'm sure the Scientology is thinking, this is so wonderful. Look, all the children that we abuse are now with a complete compromised AF bunch of attorneys that literally have their head I don't know where in the hell they have their head. Kent, a survivor of clergy abuse himself, was a founding member of the crime victim department at Laffey, Bucci, and Kent. He previously worked as a sex crimes prosecutor and has served on the board of National Crime Victim Bar Association and as a volunteer attorney for the Montgomery County Child Advocacy Project, according to his now deleted law firm bio. A spokesperson for the state disciplinary board declined to comment on the case. Kent has no history of previous disciplinary action according to the board's database. Well, spokesperson for the state disciplinary board really declining all statements, really literally with a straight face. Answer, why in the hell? It's taken so long to do nothing, to come up with nothing. As other people's literal cases are in jeopardy, are jeopardized because of your inaction. Whether you're going to find the allegations true or false. Why don't you just look at the text messages and start figuring it out? Why don't you do a shred of heavy lifting? Or are lawyers covering up for lawyers? Because that's what in the hell this is giving. In our own personal opinion. In what world can it take this long? In what world is the urgency of the matter to get resolved one way or the other? If this was all just a complete made up, as Brian Kent's attorney already said, oh, it's outrageous and false and everything else, then by all means, show us. Show us what all of those WhatsApp messages actually show. What other type of evidence are y'all looking for? What other type of investigations are you doing? How in the literal hell do y'all pull strings? These attorneys that don't know what in the hell to do an investigation, you guys. I mean, literally, children in Scientology investigate better than these people that went to schools that have all the professors of this, professors of that, professors of what? Y'all are sitting on these boards purporting to want to save a world. And, you know, the first chance you get to that calls for integrity, that calls for literally looking out for the people that you're advocating for, given who is going to be effed by this situationship. Who? So that's what the Philadelphia Inquirer is reporting. And Marcy Hamilton is calling for the FBI to step in. Because apparently they just found out that there's a lot of other victims. I mean, in what world are these people that are supposed to be the experts of predators? I mean, this man was winning all manner of awards, winning all manner of, oh yeah, look what he did here, look what he did there. And imagine that the people that purport to be very experts and let's really get all these billion-dollar settlements from predators because we really want to focus on the predators. Well, in what world are we not being sent there by you, Mike Rinder? In what world did you not vet who in the hell you were sending everyone to? In what world did you stop talking to Brian Kent, Leah Remini? What in the hell you know that made you all of a sudden, oh, I don't deal with Brian. No, I don't want to deal with him anymore. Oh, I just want to talk to the other two. I don't want to deal with Brian anymore. So what in the hell did you know that made you not want to deal with Brian, Leah Remini? You're going to really sit there and purport that you had no idea that anything took place, right? No idea. Couldn't be more clueless is all we ever get. These people playing dumb. Oh, we had no idea. Everything's so clueless. We're just so out of the loop, you guys. Oh my God, it's a shocker to us. It's a shocker and it's a shocker. And sure, it's a real big shocker. But I mean, If y'all want to really be shocked, let's go to the second shocking item. As if Child USA couldn't literally be more shocking if they tried. Here it goes. Tapping Mike Rinder, his literally completely irrelevant blog where he really posts a bunch of sanitizing narratives, who is now accusing Scientology of why Scientology hates Child USA, why Scientology loves Child USA, should be your headline, Mike Rinder. Why Scientology loves. Because you know what? Who benefited from having such horrific representation for kids that had no clue what an attorney was, you guys? This was the first set of attorneys that we had. We had no idea how it worked. We were just relying on them to tell us what it was, how this worked. But yeah, Mike Rinder wants to sell the story of why Scientology hates Child USA, why you and Scientology love Child USA, why you and Scientology love that you had Brian Kent kneecapped AF. Couldn't have been more incompetent, couldn't have been more ineffective in his representation for children that were abused in disgusting, indefensible ways by the man tapped to be part of the board of this organization. Imagine you, Marcy Hamilton. Child USA has been involved in two specific events Scientology cannot tolerate, and more broadly in successful efforts to give victim voices. First, the executive director of Child USA, Marcy Hamilton, a constitutional law professor, successfully argued in the California Appeals Court to overturn the ruling that would have forced Danny Masterson's victims to submit to Scientology's sham arbitration. It was the first loss Scientology had suffered in its efforts to suppress all attempts to get justice by those it abused. Second, Child USA supported and assisted in the passage of the Ending Forced Arbitration of SA and Sexual Harassment Act in 2021, which prevents victims of SA being forced into arbitration. Specifically, it amends Federal Arbitration Act to prohibit enforcement of mandatory arbitration agreements with respect to a case which it filed under federal, tribal, and state law and relates to SA dispute or sexual harassment dispute. The act provides that a mandatory arbitration agreement is not enforceable at the election of the person alleging conduct constituting sexual harassment dispute or sexual assault dispute. The law was a central element in the recent argument in the Los Angeles Central Court, which resulted in a tentative ruling from Judge Brovelt that eviscerated Scientology's religious arbitration play that has been successful in front of almost all judges except the California Appeals Court, as noted above. The proposed ruling was so devastating that Miscavige used as a preemptory challenge to remove the judge before he could make his ruling official. Finally, Scientology is generally not in favor of the enormous amount of good work Child USA has done to eliminate statutes of limitation bars on victims of Child SA. Imagine you, Mike Rinder, pitching this with a straight face, typing it. Wonder what's going through your head as you type this lie on your blog. Finally, Scientology is generally not in favor of the enormous amount of good work Child USA has done to eliminate statute of limitation. There's no cases filed by any of the so-called amazing work that Child USA has done, Mike Rinder. Imagine there was a 3-year look-back window for people like Miriam to file, for people like the other contributor that you had in your Scientology and the Aftermath expose. You know exactly who in the hell I'm talking about. Why the hell, if her essay took place in California, in what world are there 0 cases filed on behalf of 0 victims? In what world are you here pitching that Scientology really hates this? Oh, you know, the statutes of limitation. The statutes of limitation have done nothing for us, the kids that were abused by y'all. inside of your disgusting, despicable child trafficking hotels. So in what world is Scientology really hating Child USA? Right about now would be a great time to, type another blog post and really tell the world. Child USA has become a big thorn in Scientology's effort to suppress the rights of the victims to have their day in court. You have been a big part of those efforts to suppress, Mike Rinder, as you sit on that board and you told no one to file a case. Why are there 0 cases filed? Imagine Miriam's case, criminal case that had been ongoing for years, that had a taped phone call of her father admitting to his crimes, the one you doxed the entire police investigation, then all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Better luck next lifetime, Miriam. We are not going to prosecute this. All very coincidental with you doxing the living F out of her. But who's suppressing the rights of who again? And as with all enemies of Scientology, they are engaging in a fair game campaign of harassment, rumor mongering, and attempted intimidation. So if you see anything that doesn't seem to add up being said about Child USA, know that it is very likely orchestrated by Scientology. No, you didn't, Mike Rinder. No, you literally didn't. And you, Marcy Hamilton, in what world are you literally reading this blog with a straight face and thinking, oh yeah, makes a lot of sense. Thanks God that we have Mike Rinder here to really clarify and save another world with us. Because y'all are saving nothing. Y'all are saving nothing, as you literally all are responsible for putting us again in harm's way. Never mind that I did fire the both of you. Never mind that I had no idea, I had no solid receipt that anything untoward was going on with this Brian Kent. Never mind, I smelled a rat. So no thanks to you, you didn't harm me. No thanks to you, I did smell the rat, and I did fire you for wanting to put me on a podcast with Corey Feldman. Oh, yeah, sir. Just why don't you go on a podcast with Corey Feldman to speak about PDF files in Hollywood and Scientology? Because that's going to make a lot of sense. That's the type of advice that was being given by these attorneys. In what world is an attorney going to tell their client to go on a podcast with a man who, I don't know who in the hell he is. I don't know what in the hell happened in Hollywood. I was not there. I was stuck in a hotel being essayed. I was stuck in a hotel being tapped to, rehabilitate a pedo, because that is a thing that they do in Scientology. Tap underage kids to rehabilitate pedos. And where is the FBI being called on that? The FBI wasn't called on that. I was being called to do a podcast with Corey Feldman, an ambassador of Child USA, to really have a podcast to really discuss like PDF files in Hollywood and Scientology. So yeah, that was the breaking point. That was why I fired Marcy Hamilton and why I fired the entire team. I smelled a rat. They wanted to use us. They wanted us to go out there and, drum up drama to really see if they could get a good settlement for us. We weren't asking for money. We were clear from the very beginning with Brian Kent and with you, Marcy Hamilton. We didn't give a shred of an F to get a blood money settlement from these MFers. We wanted the facts exposed. We wanted children literally left out of harm's way. In what world is that too much to ask? So The other thing that we need to see right here, just so that we can show you all what in the literal hell is actually going on, let's just check this other part right here, you guys. Here. You can go to my community tab and you can see it for yourselves there as well, because I did post it there. So let's show you this right here. So this is my community tab where, yes, you guessed it, Child USA, this person, Sarah Sunquist, I left 2 comments about Mike Rinder and both have been deleted. Child USA, thanks for expressing your concerns. Brian Kent is no longer on the Child USA board, and board member Mike Rinder has posted this blog to explain such posts. So when I say that Child USA is defending this man, Child USA is defending this man that brought Miriam from another country into the United States, who uprooted Miriam and her 2 underage brothers to come to the United States and be enslaved, to be child trafficked. And that's who Child USA is telling everyone, no, but we just go read the post from, this doesn't even amount to Ghislaine Maxwell. Mike Rinder wasn't Ghislaine Maxwell. Mike Rinder was part of the Jeffrey Epsteins of this disgusting hotel, part of the opinion leaders, part of the board members, part of the ones that were literally doing everything in their power to have the power, to have unfettered access to kids, to minors who could not consent to whatever in the hell a convicted felon pitched. But in what world are these nonprofits to save a world that are not doing anything but saving themselves is what in the hell is giving? Because nothing has been done about it. Nothing. Yes, Miriam. Usually an attorney would not demand you talk publicly at all. We were being told to speak in public, to make our case in public, to make our case to Corey Feldman. In what world is that good lawyering? Oh, yeah, we'll represent you. Why don't you talk to Corey Feldman? Let's just talk to Corey Feldman real quick. Because that's going to what? Like speak to someone that has nothing to do with Scientology and has everything to do with, this other Hollywood allegations that he has? Like, no. Thank you so much for telling this an inside look into how this is sometimes done. I think it really gets told. Thank you, Selfless Self. Yeah, it doesn't get told because everything is about the status MF quo. That's all these people care about. Oh, let's keep the status quo alive. Let's really just lie to these kids that are so stupid that won't figure it out for themselves. That are so stupid. Well, you know what? Y'all ran out of luck. L. Ron Hubbard and these disgusting proteges did teach us one thing: to investigate, to pull strings. When something doesn't make a shred of sense, you pull the string and you find out why in the hell is it not making sense. And what's the general Sherman tank behind this disgusting operation? What's behind the fact that it makes no shred of sense that Child USA would have kept Brian on its board, that the Child USA board pretends I had no clue, and then all of a sudden they're asking for an FBI investigation? How stupid do y'all think we are? Because you know what? We weren't stupid even as kids. That's why these MFers were exploiting us. They were adulticizing us, and we were expected to think like adults. And today we are adults. And today, no, we're not going to be literally told BS statements to CYA and not come clean on what in the hell y'all done as a board. And now, since all your statements are coming out as a board, you are all being referred to as a board. That's your public statement as a board. We only found out recently as a board. You're going to lie as a board. You're going to let someone put these statements out there for y'all. Every single ESQ that's on that board. Do y'all not have critical thinking skills? Is there a shortage of critical thinking skills? How are your critical thinking skills compromised? How? How are they so compromised? How are you all so willy-nilly just doing this? And you think that you're not going to get called out. And you think that, you know, the status quo is going to safeguard you all from dealing with the consequences of literally backstabbing kids that have already done enough in our life. Enough of the abuse, enough of these manipulation and this BS pitches about we're really going to help you and we're really going to do a lot for you when all you were doing is effing us over. With a straight face. Acting like a hero while running out of statutes of limitations and these victims are profiting is the most evil thing I can think of. I mean, yes. And again, you guys, in the literal complaint file, there were text messages, there were WhatsApp messages, there's all manner of stuff. So again, in what world are we, the kids that didn't even go to school, having to tell these attorneys that yes, if one of your attorneys is infected, guess what happens to everyone else's case? Because Brian and his team were filing litigation on behalf of several plaintiffs while all of this was going on. So in what world is Scientology really hating Child USA, Mike Rinder? In what world is that? Yeah. I mean, if all of these attorneys are so clueless, I mean, this is what in the hell is giving. Like, oh, we're just such deer in headlights now. Oh, we had no idea about this, but you know what? Let's really get the FBI involved because, oh, so many people are coming forward. All of a sudden, never mind, there is a comment. All of a sudden, never mind, let me really just talk about this. And, oh, yeah, we really want to thank you that this is getting ignored. It's like, how is this not getting ignored if it's getting ignored? So there's just more questions and there's more things that don't make sense, which means there's more lies that are being spread to cover up what in the hell has been done, what the legal profession has done to us, the kids that end up ensnared in billion-year contracts, to us, the kids that end up tapped to rehabilitate self-admitted PDF files. And yes, nothing has been done to help a shred of us. So forgive us for not being so, oh yeah, you're really going to save a world? Oh yeah, if it wasn't for Child USA, then what? Child USA that has been harboring not one, two people that couldn't be more compromised AF. Two. Mike Rinder that was keeping a secret. As much as you pretend that you weren't keeping it, Mike Rinder, you and plenty other of your bodies knew, including your buddy Leah Remini, including another woman that was intimately friends with all of this. In what world were we looped out? We were the plaintiffs. We were the ones that were being put at risk by this unthinkable maneuver. And yet no one lifted a literal shred of finger to help nobody. Go look at the public record and see what you've done to help anybody. Because your false pitches are getting called out. It is the year 2024, and we're not going to let you continue false pitching your way out of pretending that you were not on the board of a child trafficking ring. That you're nowhere on the public record repudiating what in the hell was done to children, Mike Rinder. So even from Child USA board, what type of advocacy are you doing for kids? Kids that you abused, you with the rest of your board members in Scientology, you with the rest of the Scientology parents who brought kids to be trafficked, all full knowing. The betrayal is unthinkable. The level of betrayal is really, honestly, unthinkable. But I guess we shouldn't be that surprised. We should be numb to that level of betrayal. That that's all we've ever had from these criminal bozos. Bozos, the evil clowns, child trafficking kids at an industrial size scale. Marcy Hamilton, unable to figure it out, what in the hell's going on in those hotels, and going with, let's really tap Mike Rinder to be part of my board to save another world. And now on the public record, defending him and sending people over to read his blog. Because now y'all insulted us, calling us Scientology. We never consented or agreed to be part of that racketeering scheme. So put that on your notes in case that wasn't clear back in the day when we were your clients, in case we weren't able to make our point when we were your client and told you everything, only for y'all to betray us, only for y'all to throw us under another bus. How many more buses do we have to be thrown under? By legal representatives, by attorneys. How in the hell did we end up locked up in a hotel? Attorneys! Attorneys of this United States that have all studied the Constitution in their law, legal, oh yeah, let's all study the Constitution, you guys, and make child trafficking great again, and make child slaves great again. With all their certificates and all their BS. It's a disgrace what in the hell y'all are. A complete and utter disgrace. To be sitting there, you know, Grabbing more money, give us donations, donate because we're really going to save a lot of kids. Well, you're not saving anybody. And when you have the chance to save any shred of child, what do? You F it up. And then when it gets effed up, what do? You shut the hell up about it. You don't call on the FBI to investigate. You literally tap Mike Rinder to become part of your board. So kids cannot consent to what in the hell they were put to do inside of those hotels. Marcy Hamilton, how much clearer can I possibly be? How much clearer can we possibly be? Y'all took us for a joke, but you know what? We ain't laughing. This is no laughing matter what in the hell has happened here. No laughing matter what all of these crooked attorneys have done to us. We ended up under arbitration agreements because Mike Rinder and the rest of his attorney team put that on a contract to derail us having a shred of choice to be able to get a shred of justice for ourselves, to be able to hold the literal predators accountable. Well, our predators would be nobodies. Our predators are high school dropouts and high school graduate Mike Rinder. So in what world was Mike Rinder going to have a shred of power to do anything with his pathetic life if he wasn't being aided and abetted by crooked AF attorneys that were catering to his thirst for unfettered access to kids? Because L. Ron Hubbard said that would be a great idea. Oh, children are just adults, you guys. Use them up the same. We have grown up. Hear our voices, Rinder. Yeah, we have grown up. We couldn't be more disgusted. We couldn't be more nauseated about what you've done with your life, about how you ensnared all of our parents in your disgusting racketeering 501c scam that you pitched to the idiots at the IRS who really went with the pitch. Oh, this man really wants to save a world. Let's let him. Only to ensnare us, only to put us on the front line with self-admitted felons, self-admitted pedophiles that had full unfettered access to us. In what world were y'all saving a world by putting minors in front of pedophiles and telling a minor to literally rehabilitate a pedophile, to literally pull the evil purposes of a self-admitted pedophile? It's especially concerning that Marcy Hamilton is literally teaching future lawyers at UPenn. Someone with lack of ethics has no business. I mean, yes, Marcy Hamilton, professional of constitutional this and that and whatever. And in what world are you literally on this side of this situation today? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. You're a grown woman. You made adult choices. And you know, backpedaling and you know what? Putting all manner of spin isn't going to help you. Not with us. Not with us now that we know. I mean, yes, it's taken us years and years and years to understand the level of betrayal of trust. The absolute betrayal of trust that we had on y'all. I mean, again, thank God that I fired all of you before I had a chance to get even more effed up by y'all. We're no longer the kids that you kept ignorant, Mike Rinder. Good point, Miriam. We're not going to be kept ignorant. We have plenty of people that do have our backs today. Unlucky for y'all. We have plenty of people that do understand what in the hell happened and that do care and that do understand that this problem that happened to us is happening to other kids. And they're as pressed as we are about it. Not apathetic, not whitewashing it, not just leaving it for another lifetime. I hope those kids in Scientology have better luck next lifetime. The facts have come to light, and what's done in the darkness will come to light. And that is the only way it can be stopped. No accountability happens when everyone is playing dumb. And right about now, all we have is a bunch of attorneys playing dumb for God knows what reason. What type of blackmail do they have on y'all to be playing dumb in full display for everyone to see without a shred of shame? Oh, let's just play dumb because you know what? The kids that were abused in Scientology never went to high school, are so stupid, are so ill-informed, are so don't know anything about the legal system and how it works that, you know what, we'll just run circles around them. And it sucks to be them. They'll have no one to help them, no one to guide them, no one to protect them, no one to ensure that no kids are still being abused in the exact same sadistic, illegal, disgusting way that they've all bought the pitch from Mike Rinder. Oh yeah, we're going to save a world. That's what we opened up this 501c with the IRS. Better luck next lifetime triggers me. I get so angry when I hear that. I know, Kiara, because that's what it feels, that these pathetic fools want us to literally become so apathetic, you know, and then just go, oh, well, I guess, you know, better luck next lifetime. And no, we're not waiting for next lifetime. We want answers now. Where in the literal hell is the literal FBI doing a shred of heavy lifting? Why is all the heavy lifting being literally put on all the kids that were abused? Because that would be great to understand, FBI. In what world were we trafficked? From 1993, 3 decades later, y'all are doing nothing to stop it. Nothing to put a guardrail. Nothing to stop this child trafficking ring operating in full force all across America. So it is your jurisdiction, isn't it? We're not counting on the LAPD to save nobody. We're not counting on Clearwater Police Department, both departments that have been fully kneecapped. Apparently now too, the Chicago department also kneecapped, also doing the bidding of the child traffickers. So why is law enforcement doing the bidding and protecting child traffickers? Why is that happening? So this video has been very emotionally taxing on me, you guys, and I think this is a good moment to end. I said what I said, and these people need to literally start answering the questions and start coming clean on what in the literal hell they have done to sabotage children that were sadistically, systemically, institutionally abused. Felonies of aggravated child abuse were literally their MO, how they treated kids, how they're treating kids as we speak, as slaves. Why does America stand behind child slavery? Marcy Hamilton, ask yourself that question. Check that question on your Constitution. And then ask Mike Rinder if he was child trafficking kids and see if he answers with a straight answer or if he gives you another pathetic excuse. That's all he's ever done. Put up as many pathetic excuses as he could possibly muster up. As he points the finger to David Miscavige, did it all, and it was him too. It's called co-conspirator in a grand scale racketeering scheme. That in what world am I the one that's telling you this, Marcy Hamilton? In what world? Because that would be great for you to really ask yourself that. So no more kids in Scientology, you guys, because kids cannot consent. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.